we're going to be looking over an investigation of a pollution incident. It was inspected by an OSHA investigation team. It happened actually in the Santa Barbara Canal in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California, December 13th. It happened between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. on platform A. And the problem that happened was, over time in the salt water, one of the shipping pump cans that was moving the oil, number 4 to be exact, caught a leak. That shipping pump can is about 10 to 12 feet above the water, and the hole that actually occurred was about a 1/4 inch diameter hole. Doesn't sound like a lot, but on a vessel like that, any kind of vessel, that's going to cause a lot of oil discharge and a lot of environmental hazards. It's estimated that about 20 to 30 barrels of oil was spilled out into the Santa Barbara Canal. They actually didn't determine the exact amount of pollution that caused, but they did happen to determine that another estimated about 20 barrels of oil was recovered through the water. So a lot of it was well maintained, and it was well blocked off by OSHA. Now the question I realize is, why did it happen? The investigative panel from OSHA did an intensive investigation, and they came to the conclusion that it was because of accelerated corrosion on the shipping pump can. And as everybody knows, anything that without any protective coating on it in salt water is going to go through accelerated corrosion. So the salt water just kept beating on it. Eventually, just that shipping pump can was more exposed than other ones, causing more corrosion, and eventually went to a 1/4 inch diameter hole. The problem with it was, it wasn't just the corrosion wasn't just randomly in the middle of the shipping pump can. It was actually by the stability clamp, which is the most vulnerable part near the shipping pump can. When it's near the stability clamp, it gets loose, which causes more corrosion and a bigger spill. And the main thing that they found was there was no proper maintenance check or preventative measures taken. And as we all know, if you're not doing a proper maintenance check and risk assessment, you're much more vulnerable to any kind of hazards, pollution, spills, anything like that is hazardous to the environment. And on the PowerPoint, we downloaded it earlier, it actually has a picture of the number 4 shipping pump can. As you can see, there's a lot of oil that's collected on the outside of it. You can't really tell exactly where the hole is, but it's right up where these this big clamp is. It's about 2 feet in width, and it's right below that. Okay. Now the question I have for you today is, what could have been done to prevent this accident? There's several things that could have been done, but what's some of the main things that could have been done to prevent this accident from happening?
Put some coating over it, because it's in salt water.
Right.
Going to corrode.
They actually, most barges all barges that are in salt water have a specific, I'm not sure what the exact brand is or anything, they have a specific coating of paint and primer that has to go over any shipping pump cans or anything that's going to be exposed to salt water to help against corrosion. Anything else that could have been done?
Routine maintenance checks?
Yeah, you had that big red flag that was like, they didn't do it right.
Exactly. I mean, when you do a maintenance check, you're going over everything. It's supposed to be done, there's a small one that's done daily, and over time there's a large one that's a whole scale of any vessel, barge, or mobile offshore drilling unit of any kind.
Now, was this one was in plain sight, or was it hidden?
It's in plain sight, actually. It's towards the outside of the boat, though, so it actually has to be inspected. People have to hoist themselves down and actually inspect it from the outside, which, people nowadays are going to find, oh, it's too much hassle, and if we can get away with just having a checklist, and most people just check stuff off. I mean, anytime you receive a checklist, a lot of you worked in either work offshore or worked on plants, and majority of the people, what do? They just check stuff off and like, yeah, it's good,
80-90% of the people do that.
Exactly. And when people do that, that's when you start to see the majority of your accidents happening in any area. You're going to see spills. I mean, any big scale disaster you've seen is because somebody did not do a maintenance check or a risk assessment. And they bring people in now especially, because this happened several years ago when a lot of the regulations were different. Nowadays, they bring people in to do risk assessments annually to see which areas you're most at risk for, whether it's spillage or damage to injury of employees. So, like I said, about 20 of the barrels of oil were cleaned up, which reduced the pollution greatly. But still, about 10 barrels of oil were still spilled into the Santa Barbara Canal in the Pacific Ocean. So, in the end, what I want you to take from this is to be persistent when you do your maintenance checks. On the job, you have to look over everything and make sure you cover every risk assessment that can be possibly done to prevent any other pollution incidents or any other hazards or injuries that can happen on the job. So I'd like to thank you all for coming today. You guys have a great day.